Good morning. Welcome, everyone. I'm Tracy Irby. I'm the director at the Center for Women Entrepreneurs. So happy to have all of you with us here this morning. I'm virtual today, but it's nice because I get to see everybody who's online, and I don't always get to see those when I'm in person. So for those of you who are visiting us for the first time, the Center for Women Entrepreneurs is part of the larger Jane Nelson Institute for Women's Leadership at Texas Women's University. They're dedicated to preparing more women to take on successful roles in business and public service. It's three specialized centers: the Center for Student Leadership, Center for Women Entrepreneurs, and Center for Women in Government ensure women have the education to establish careers as successful executives, skills for building entrepreneurial businesses, and the framework needed to run for public office. Our center was founded in 2015. We are funded by the state legislature just to help promote women entrepreneurs anywhere in the state of Texas. And you don't have to be part of the TWU university system. So we're glad all of you are here today. I want to introduce our staff first. We have Kimberly Nielsen. She's our online hostess here in Zoom. We have Barbara Ranke. She is our program coordinator, and she is watching Facebook. We have Donalisa Stinyard. She is our associate director. There's Christina. She's our small business advisor, and I'll introduce her in a little bit as the speaker as well. So right now, I'm going to turn it over to Donalisa so she can go through the room in person where everyone can introduce themselves. And those of you online, feel free to put your name and business in the chat.
And just really quick, you will get a copy of the chat. So for those of you that are in person, you'll be able to see those names as well. So Kimberly, do you mind getting us started introducing yourself?
My name is Kimberly. I'm a grad student in biotechnology and interested in starting my own biotech company.
Awesome.
My name is Samitra Kroll. I'm a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and I have a homeless victim to work with.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Dickerson, and I own a lactation services company that's located in Southern Valley.
My name is Brenda Atchison. I am a doctor of management, have retired professor of entrepreneurship, and I own Platinum Career Coaching.
Nice.
I'm Kristen McGregory. I'm a physical therapist and owner of Ufology Physical Therapy and Wellness.
Good morning. My name is Kay Thibodeau. I'm a chocolatier. I own the Touring Chocolatier in North Lake.
Okay. Hi, my name is Mildred Dillon. I'm a CPA and I have an educational company called The Money Doctor.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Gold. I'm a public speaker. I teach women how to learn how to value themselves and believe it.
Hi, I'm Jessica Deliad, and I hope to launch a website next year for single women.
That's it in the room.
Great. So glad to have all of you here this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speaker. I'm very excited for those of you who haven't met them. Christina is our small business advisor. Christina Mortel, small business advisor, is a U.S. Army veteran and brings corporate, state, and small business experience to her advising role at the Center for Women Entrepreneurs. She has been advising small businesses for 7 years, focusing on economic development, small business ideation and expansion, government contracting, and marketing. So I am pleased to introduce our speaker today, our own Christina Mortel.
Well, I'm so glad to be here. Normally, I'm online, and so I'm switching places with Tracy today. I'm here in the room, and I'm excited to be present with everyone because normally I'm online with the rest of the folks. So hi to everybody out there. Thanks for taking time to be here today. I'm really excited to talk about capability statements, and I think it's a really good time of year to think about this. First, to look back at 2023. How's your business changed? What has changed in the business, or how have you changed? Or how do you want to move forward in 2024? You know, based on the things that you learned, clients you had, or clients that you're seeking. So I'm really excited about doing this. I've been reviewing capability statements for about 3 years now, for a variety of clients. And I just really hope that you'll find that this marketing tool is effective for you. And it really is. And we have templates and things like that, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. But I just want to let you know that today's focus is really on content and format. Now, you can make a very beautiful cap statement, and we can probably do that. But today, we're here about what's going to go on this piece of paper or on your digital one for your clients that you are actively seeking to engage. Okay, so we'll start there. So here's our agenda. I'm going to go over every single category of the cap statement. And then towards the end, I have samples that I've taken from other clients in the past that I want you to take a look at for format, because even though this is all about you, it's really about the reader, who is reading this and what they take away from it. And then I have some resource links and things like that we can talk about. And I believe you're going to get this afterwards, so all good. So what is a capability statement? It is really a 1 to 2 page resume on your business, not on you, but on your business. These are the categories. And we're going to go over each one, starting with the company overview, etc. But you can see that they're very specific, and they're specific for a reason. And the reason is the person who's going to read it will take 5 to 8 seconds to do this, make a decision. Hey, should I follow up with this person, or will this person be someone that we can work with in the future? So I'm going to go over each one of these. I won't read this whole slide, but these are the categories that go on your cap statement. So really, what is the purpose? So it is a marketing tool that informs the procurement or decision maker about your company's product and services. Okay. Now, its real purpose is to, like I mentioned, to get the first or second meeting with a potential client. So it's only going to be, like I said, a streamlined snapshot of your company. You're not going to put everything that you've done on here, and we're not out here to boil the ocean. We're giving them a streamlined, picture of your business. So I think you'll find it helpful, and it's actually very good. So those of you who've done elevator pitches or or done some marketing materials may find this really helpful, but also a challenge, I think. Did I lose this now, Lisa? Advance it?
I don't know.
It says it's preparing a lunch. Anyway, the one thing I do want to mention is that on the next slide, we'll talk about this. So this is effective for B2B, business to business, business to government, and I'm making the case that it is for business to consumer. So first, it's mandatory that if you are selling to local, state, federal, school districts, whatever, you need to have a capability statement. It is required to have that if you're doing any engagement with a government entity. For B2B, it's definitely best practice, and it's really morphed into something that companies want to see up front in the procurement. I have 2 examples I want to share with you. The first one is I partnered recently with a construction company in Austin. I have sent him 3 different clients. He does a monthly meeting, and it's called Make Your Mark Monday. He invites you to come to his office, brief his project team on your capability statement and any projects that you have done. Why? Because he wants to bring in more subcontractors who can do the work that the company needs, and he's opening it up, obviously, to women businesses. That's number 1. Number 2, I was just telling Kimberly that last night I got an email from a large company in San Antonio that I had met last month at an event, who does both government contracting work and industry. And he said, Christina, I need to reach out to you. How can I partner with you? I really am seeking women-owned small businesses. The first thing he's going to ask for, if I can connect you, is your capability statement. Okay, so he's going to connect with me on what he's looking for, and then I hope to connect you to him. But that's one thing. So B2B is definitely using it. Last example, I was up on a vendor management page for American Express. Out there, you go to the supplier diversity page, they have 8 different categories of stuff that they're looking for. And they'll also tell you where they want help with minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, et cetera. So you have to actively look and see what companies need your products and services. And then lastly, business to consumer. I believe that if you are a coach of any kind, a consultant, a speaker, anyone who's selling a product or a service to the end user consumer, that obviously would require contract or a lengthy engagement, I would definitely have a capability statement. If I'm coming to you because I need one-on-one consulting on nutrition, mental health, leadership, my resume, whatever, I think it's really good to put it out there. Hey, look at all this experience I have. Look where I specialize in. You know, maybe you're in the medical field, maybe you're in a different field, organizational leadership, whatever. You want to talk to somebody who's got that. I think it's great to have a capability statement for your business to hand to someone. Or if you're in catering, for example, and you want to do B2B, you want to go, here's what I do. I think there's definitely a play in the consumer space for the capability statement. We could talk about that further. So definitely, I think that this will be an effective way to market to each category. And today we're going to talk about a foundational one. And what I mean by that is you're going to tweak it depending on who your client is later on, okay? So first of all, the first thing you have to do is a company statement, but I want to make sure we have this. So I gave you these 2 things, okay? This one is a sample that I got from the Apex Accelerator. I realize it's not very comprehensive, but I did it just to, so you have a look at the format. This is the same one with nothing on it. So I thought you could jot down notes, or if there's something down here that resonates with you, you can put it here. But you can use this kind of a format, and we'll explain that as we go. The first part is the company statement. Now, 3 to 4 sentences max on your company. So I like to look at it that you're getting, you could put out there 3 to 4, 5 pieces of information in the first sentence. So in the example I have here, you're telling the name of your company, when you were formed, what products and services that you sell, that you have, the client or the agency that you sell to, and maybe the area. So in the first sentence, let's try to put in, 4 to 6 pieces of information that the reader, once again, will take away, yeah, this is exactly what I need. And then maybe in the second or third sentence, you can say we specialize in. Now, I want to show you 2 examples. And I want to take some time to do this because I think it's worth showing you the difference. Now, these are both real companies. I didn't use the real name, but the first one you can see located in Austin. We develop energy management strategies, lowering energy costs in commercial government facilities and projects nationwide. So she has put in here all of those 5 elements, okay, in 2 sentences. And you can guess by looking at that who the reader is, who's consuming this. Someone in the procurement office for a government facility or a major project that requires lead energy, stuff like that, management. Okay, so and she's told you we do only commercial and we do government facilities. In the second one, I think this is kind of interesting, and I want to take time to kind of parcel it. This is actually 2 sisters who own this company since 2003. And so it's a family-owned company. I didn't put that in there, but it's family-owned, full-service wine distributor. And she's highlighting what they do, that they have a sales team in major markets, which I think is pretty important. I think the thing I want to focus on is the last sentence. Focusing on family-owned and artisanal producers of wine and spirits, we wave the flag of families who proudly reflect their culture and origins. Now, who is she writing that for? Not the person who's going to cut the PO, but the chef who's going to make the decision, or the restaurateur, or the person who makes decisions on sourcing. I think they care about sources, right? Where is this stuff coming from? And she's also saying, I also work with small businesses. So now we're telling the procurement team, not only am I small business, I work with small businesses, And I'm kind of highlighting where I get my products from. You're not just getting it from HEB or something. And I shouldn't say that because she actually, HEB is a client of hers as well. But my point is she's bringing in specialty items that they may not otherwise get. She's made a point of saying that in her company statement. So something to think about for yourself. The first one definitely gets it done. The second one, a little nuanced, and you can do the same, right? You can think about this, and there is, creative license. This is your company. Think about what the reader needs to know. The next section is core competencies. Again, this is 3 to 5 things that you do every day where your expertise is, okay? I would say 3 to 5. What do you do? Are you coaching? I tried to put some sample verbiage there for you to take a look at. You're doing business consulting. Are you doing project management? What are the 3 to 5 things that you do? And I just want you to limit to 3 or 5 because you can see that the reader doesn't want to get overwhelmed. And you may do 15 things, but we're only focusing on 3 to 5. Take a look at some of these. Do you manufacture, sell? Are you providing administrative support, conducting audits, assessments? What are those things that you're doing in your business? And again, we just want to keep it so that they understand very quickly, okay, this company does this. Do I need their project management services for this thing coming up? So think about that. And some of you will probably already have this in your head. I know exactly what I'm doing. Okay, great. Maybe expand on it. Maybe add 2 or 3 things that would be helpful. I hope that that's resonating too for folks online. And by the way, I do recognize a lot of the names in the companies, so I'm very interested to talk to you after this about your CAP statements. Now, this one we need to spend a little bit of time on, because this is 2 pieces: past performance or past experience. When you see the words past performance, that's specifically addressing how you performed against a contract. Okay, you've got the subcontract with someone, you have a contract with the hub group or whatever. Past performance, that word in that case, performance means you performed against a contract. Okay. And it can be listed on your form. You can see down here with 2 or 3 bullets. Let me just say this part. You list the customer, most recent customer. Let's say you're in a contract right now. You list your current contract, 2024 to 2025. I'm doing business consulting. Let's say you had a previous one, then you list it. Now, there's some people will make a differentiation between this. Some people believe that you put on there, like I have in the example, at Denton ISD, I did contracted AV and live streaming services, August and the date and the value of the contract. Definitely need to have that information in there. Some people will suggest add the contact name and the email. Now, I think that's a good practice. Simply because if you've already got the contact name and the email, the person's reading it saying, okay, I can call this person like this and just verify. Versus saying contact name and email provided upon request. Now you can do that, you can do both, okay? I'm just saying there's certain, immediate credibility that I can put this person's name on there. Now what I would do, I would call Denton ISD and say, hey, is it okay if I put your name and contact information on my CAP statement before I send it out? And they're probably going to say yes. If they say no, fine. Then you can say provided upon request. So just think about that. So again, you're listing it. You want to have a conversation. Again, you want this to be in the first or second meeting. They're going to ask you about your past performance. Okay. I don't know if you have any questions on that part of it. So if you can list any past performance you have, great. Now, here's this one. The difference is past experience. Now, this is also important, and everyone's got experience that's relevant. So in this case, you have not had a contract yet, but you've got 20 years of experience or 30 years of experience doing whatever it is you've done, or that you can, add to this that you can highlight. Like, for example, you highlight your individual past performance. Formerly at my previous employer, I did contract advising or whatever, and then you can put that down. So your personal experience does matter. And when you put it on the CAP statement, you're putting it as past experience. And then I put some examples here that are fine. I mean, it's perfect examples that as a former employee of such and such, I managed a team of 10 people and we managed, you know, a $10 million quota or something. Or like in this example, we manage supply chain contracts. Here's another one. Let's say you go into business with someone else as a partner. Both of you are new, it's a new company. But combined, you've got all this experience, and I put on here leading Fortune 50 sales teams, depending on what your company is. Now, in Kimberly, in your case, if you did biotech, that's an example, you know, perfect example. You've been doing it forever, and now you're doing it, you know, out on your own. So this is great. So you need to really consider this. The other thing is, which I think is really important, because sometimes people struggle, and I understand the struggle. Let's say you don't have experience yet in what you want to sell, but you've got academic experience. I want you to consider also any volunteer experience you have, board experience, any articles that you have written, blogs, research you have done, groups that you have led, any projects that would have some kind of, you know, can be connected to what you're trying to deliver. So don't dismiss these things that you may not already think about. Oh, I don't really have experience. I don't have a contract yet. No one's going to take me seriously. No, you've got experience. And I think this is a real struggle, especially for new companies. And I get it. You're like, are people going to take me seriously? But build your credibility in other ways. And you've done that. So you just have to talk about it a little bit. And again, I think also talking it out with someone else will help you realize what you have done. And I welcome those conversations, and I try to do those with my business owners. So think about that. I don't know if there's any questions you have there, but again, past experience separate from past performance. And you can put, you know, in some cases you can put both on there if you wanted to. Put your initial contract that you have now, and maybe that you have all this experience, or potentially you can put the experience piece in the company over. So think about it. Okay, this is the fun part. So in this world of so many like organizations, what are your differentiators? This is probably, I think, the most important part, is what's going to make you stand out to the client, to the agency, or to the organization. So on the capability statement, you normally put 3 to 5 on there that really hopefully will be compelling to the agency or to the company. And I've listed some there. And you can take a look at this credentialed staff, this going back to your experience of you and the staff, certifications that you have, you know, bilingual, state-of-the-art equipment. Maybe you have something, you know, that you do in the lab, or a photographer or whatever has state-of-the-art equipment, security clearances, you know, things that you do well, but most importantly, what the client is looking for. Okay, so you have to know a little bit about why, you know, why would they care about this? Well, what do they care about? Do they need me after hours? Do I have to have an after hours phone number to call if something happens in a shipment? You know, I love this one, doing a post, I don't know if I put it on here, the post audit. Let's say you sell a product or a service. 6 months down the road, you sell software, you sell change management or something. You could go and offer a free audit 6 months after to make sure that they're doing all that you offer. Or, you know, those kinds of things. Post event, I think, is very important too. Take a look at those things there. Supply chain expertise. I'm thinking about you, Haiti. I know that you're on the call. And any mobile teams. Let's say they need somebody on site to do things. Can you form teams and get them to deploy? All those things matter. So again, take a look at these. I left these on here just to give you an idea of some of the samples that might be out there that will resonate with the procurement representative. Okay. Now, this last part is really generally for the reader, it's easier to see it broken out like this or in a different area, but I just want to go over it. Now, this is a lot of stuff. Some of it might be common sense, but I do want to share it with you. So on the company data and information, you have to have these things listed. Again, if the person's reading it for 5 to 8 seconds, he or she wants to check these mental blocks off right away. How do they accept payment? Do they have the right NICS codes? And we'll talk about that in a minute. Do they have the right NIGP code? What are their certifications? Okay. They want to look very quickly, you know, hey, I need to meet my numbers with women-owned small business. Maybe this person can help me. Maybe they can help me get my own threshold or my own numbers right. Also on the contact information. So this, I know may seem basic, but I just want to say it. So you put your company name on there and you'll see it could be your name, or if you have a salesperson, the salesperson's name can go on there, the business developer, if you want. Your mailing address, your physical address, your website, your phone number, all of that. Even your LinkedIn would be great. You know that they're going to check you out on LinkedIn. You're giving them your, you know, this information, they're going to go directly to your LinkedIn, check that out. Fine. I mean, that's fine because probably look at, you know, your website right away, just get a feel for you. So again, the whole purpose of the capability statement is to get the first or second meeting. This information will really be helpful to you, or, you know, helpful to them if you have it on your capability statement. Now, I just want to say on the first and second, the UEI and the CAGE code, if you're not familiar, those are automatically generated for you if you register your company in sam.gov. Okay. And I have resources and we could talk a little bit further about that. So if you're not selling to the federal government or local government, that's fine. You don't need to have the UEI or the CAGE code, but the government is going to use that for their purposes because they're going to segment you by what your industry is and all of that. Notice I didn't put the DUNS number on here. Recently, the government converted from DUNS to the UEI code. So if, you know, if let's say you are not selling to local, state and federal, and you are doing B2B or B2C, you could put the DUNS number on there. I advise never to put your EIN. Oops. I would advise never to put your EIN on there. That's still private information, or which should be. You don't need to advertise what your tax information is, your tax number. Okay. So this information is really what's required, and we could talk about it. And then I've got like 5 or 6 samples I want to show you. Give you an idea. Okay. So I just want to go over this. Here's a few tips. I've said this a couple times, 5 to 8 seconds for the reader. Now, my recommendation is on the foundation of the foundational cap statement is to have it to be 1 page. It can be 2 pages if you've got extensive past performance perhaps that you want to highlight. And I have a couple clients that do that. You know, if they're trying to work with the Air Force and they're trying to show, hey, I've got different kinds of energy planning and projects from the city of Boston, as well as the federal, they might want to show that because you actually want to show your past performance that's relevant, or your past experience that is relevant to whatever the project is that they have, okay? I don't want you to think it has to be robotic, but we do have to be concise in presenting the information. You know, like, and then I showed you that example with the company statement. Now, of course, we want to be visually appealing, and that's why I told you this is not very visually appealing, but you can use obviously your company colors, your company logo, and things like that to highlight, you know, what you're doing. Obviously, check spelling and grammar. We're going to show you some that had some errors. It was really sad because it was a great cap statement. And have someone review it for you, absolutely. Or what I always find helpful is to read it aloud. Walk around your house, read it out loud. Do not read it in silence. And if you do that, you're going to find where you've had the extra S or the twice, or missing an apostrophe, or those kinds of things. Definitely read it out loud. Right. And this last statement is really about, and we talked about, is customizing. Okay, as you need to. But for this class, I really want you to just have a basic one. And then as you move forward with a client, you can say, okay, what do I have to change here? And we'll talk about that too in just a second. Now I want to show you some, I hope you can, I don't know, I think the folks online will be able to read it. I don't know about the folks in here if it will be this clear. Okay, so this is a company that I met back in 2017. Actually, good layout, company colors. She has her contact information at the very top. Company data on the left. She's in a very, I would say, niche field, technical. She does all soil sampling. Okay, so her clients are like tech stuff, environmental stuff, anybody who's ripping up, fortunately, the earth. But she's the one who's out there doing this work. She's got a great company statement. And she's listed for competencies, differentiators, and past performance. Now that she has a 2-pager, I did not put the backside on, but notice on page 1, even if she has a 2-pager, she's listed all that she needs. Now, does anyone see what's wrong with the? Okay, unfortunately, she misspelled competencies in this. Now, obviously, it was a typo because it was a nice document. She had it on a slick. It was obviously professionally done. It looked terrific. She's got her QR code. She's got her stuff on the bottom. Her certs hub. She used logos, which is very helpful to the eye, to the reader. She accepts all credit cards. So otherwise, it was fabulous, and I felt so bad for her. Obviously, she's since corrected it, but yeah. So we want to make sure. I mean, we just miss stuff sometimes. Otherwise, fabulous. Okay, this one is another client. Straight to the point, but this is good too. She's in IT. She's got her logos. She's both SDVOB and Hub. She's got her page code. So everything, she's selling to the federal government. Everything is like this. No time for, flowering conversation, but she's listed it out. She put her core competencies and she's put her company statement in the same block as the core competencies, which you can do, but I kind of believe it's nice to call out the company a little bit. I mean, shine some light on your company, and then you can list the core competencies. She's listed a lot of performance. She's even got some, I think she formerly worked at HP down at the bottom there. So she may have also incorporated, look how she said it's performance. She did not differentiate between contract and, between personal and, contract. Interesting. And then on differentiators, she's listed those there, all these certifications. Well, in IT, of course, you have to have those. And then her experience. Now, one thing I do want to say, and she's got her contact info on the bot, also good. On the qualifications or differentiators, I just want to say this one thing, and you can disagree with me. Everyone has a socioeconomic status, okay? So I wouldn't call that a differentiator. I would put that on this side with like a logo, your VOSB, SDVOB, woman-owned, whatever. I don't know that calling out your socioeconomic status is a differentiator. It will be to that. They're gonna look and say, hey, great, she's woman-owned, she's minority-owned, she's veteran-owned, great. She's helping us meet our goals. But I don't know, because everybody at the table, 25 people at the table, have a socioeconomic status. Now what counts? Your value. What are you gonna bring? That's where you really gotta bring it. So I'm just saying, you can do what you want on yours. I'm just thinking if everyone has, you don't have to sell on your socioeconomic status. That's what I want to say. Okay. You selling on your value. You sell your value. That's my take on it. Okay. Okay. Now I'm showing you this because it doesn't look too good. Now, this is very interesting. This is a construction company, obviously, and I was surprised because they had some major clients, Lockheed Martin. I don't know if you can see it, but you'll see it when you get it at home. And I was just thinking to myself, wow, I'm only telling you this, that if you decide to use a navy blue or black background and have white lettering, just make sure that it's legible to the reader. Okay. I see the 2 guys up there. He's got a photo. I get it. He's a construction company. He's doing major facilities. I understand what he does. On the left, it's a little bit more easier to read. He's got everything laid out there. But I would just say, be careful if you decide to use a black background. Okay. or dark background. It's, you know, I've seen where there's lots of graphics, lots of color. I would just, like I said, keep it somewhat simple and keep the reader in mind. I mean, you know, I kind of feel bad for him. I would advise him not to do that and do the inverse and have black letter, or, you know, black lettering on the white background. Now this one, I like this one. I feel calm when I read it. So she's very good about, on the left-hand side, she's listed everybody in the company that are her, you know, the staff, her certs, her NICS codes. At this time it does. And she's put her core competencies on her contact information is on the bottom. The one thing I will say about this, that I think that the mission and value statement is something that you should have a conversation about. I don't know that on this immediately, depending on who you are selling to, that they want to know what your mission and values are in this first conversation. They first want to know, what is your products and services? I think having a conversation about your mission and values matters, not just putting it out there like this. Let's go back to the company, the wine person. She put in here in her statement, focusing on family, artisanal, whatever. That to me showed the value. She's saying, I value small business. I have small business as part of my business. So she's living her value there. She's showing that I care about small family wineries or whatever. My point is, I think it's important. You can list it. I think it's more important to talk about it when you're with someone, when you have this first meeting. So I think you should think about that. I like this one because obviously it's easy to read. It's clean, very easy to read. I can go down it very quickly and realize, okay, now I understand what she does. Notice how she did not put any past performance on here, which is, maybe they're just starting. Maybe they said, you know what, it's more important that we talk about our mission and our values, because right now we don't have a contract, we don't have any clients. Just be able to answer the mail if someone asks you, how come you don't have any past performance on here? I just think that you should be able to tell them, you know. And then this interesting thing about the approach. Now that's almost a, you know, very much a value statement as well. So, I mean, you'll have these samples in the presentation when you get it, and hopefully it'll kind of give you ideas of what to do, maybe what not to do, but where, you know, you can take some of the good out of here and just say, hey, yeah, this makes sense. It resonates with me. Will it resonate with my client? Now, I don't know. I mean, if I have some more, I can probably send to you at some point if you need them. And I am going to give Don Lisa one more thing to add, another template when you get it, when you get the follow-up that you also might want to use. Well, here's another one. I forgot about this one. I've got two more to show you. Now this one's packed.
Yeah.
Okay. She's used every single inch on this page, which I get. Instead of saying, you know, I think it's differentiators at the top there. I think she's got that. I can't read it, but you can see how she's talked about what she does, the history of the company. But I think that that's a lot for a person to read.
Yeah.
Okay. They're like, oh my God, I got to go read this when I get back to the office. She could have easily bulletized that stuff, right? Who we are, whatever, and I get it. It's interesting because she's a communications company. So for this point, I just want to say, I mean, I do like the right-hand side, snap, crackle, pop. She's got that all laid out. On the left-hand side, a little hard to read. This one. Now, this one is another sample I got from Apex Accelerator. This person has used lots of graphics to show where they work in California, the clients that they support in California, their partners. Again, they've got all of the data and things on the right-hand side. It's going to check the block for whoever needs to read it like this, right? And then he's got they have a good company overview. Again, he's put his contact information at the end. So you can figure out, I mean, sometimes, like, I don't know that I would say, we are a small business with capabilities and experiences that rival the performance of much larger firms. Okay, let's talk about that. Do you have metrics to show me that? I mean, I wouldn't make those kinds of statements on this page. I would say that for a face-to-face conversation. when you have a one-on-one with them. Okay, now here's some resources, and I know we haven't really talked too much about this, but I just want to talk a little bit about this. So if you decide if you already have a cap statement, bravo. If you are trying to create one and you're deciding right now, hey, maybe in 2024, I look at local, state, and federal. I never even thought about that. Selling to ISDs. And I didn't even mention nonprofits. My bad, right? So I mean, you can sell to nonprofits too, and walking in with this thing to show them, hey, this is everything I do. I can help you. I can help the development team make phone calls and do fundraising and set up events. I can do that, and you can show them. So systems for rewards management, if you haven't done it, it takes about your first time, I would say 2.5 to 3 hours. You have to have your company documents and just be prepared to sit down and plow through this thing. Like I said, you submit it, you get maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, you'll get a notice in your mailbox or email that says, great, congratulations, here's your UEI, here's your cage code, please respond with, they'll give you an action item if you need to, any other information. Now, the government, the federal government and local government, and even some B2B will use the NICS codes. So I thought I put that on there. I did in the, I'm sorry, folks, hold on. Okay, so that's the North American Industry Class Code. Okay, so if you go to that website that I just showed you, sorry for that. You go to this website, you could put in whatever your business is. You go to the census.gov, look for the gov address, the gov link. You could put in there, whatever, consulting, any services that you provide, project managers, management, catering, janitorial, whatever. It's going to give you all the NICS, the 6-digit codes is going to spit right out. And then they're going to list specifically, maybe it's catering, maybe it's outdoor, maybe it's this or that, all the nuances within that NICS code for you. Okay. So, and I'd be happy to talk to you about that too. Just, you'll have to take a look at it and do some experimenting and you say, well, Christina, I have 4 NICS codes. Great. And you can, and what I do is put 561 or 613 and then define that NICS code on your capability statement. I wouldn't just let them, oh, now I got to go back and research. Is that what we need, 613 or whatever? I would just put down there, project management with the 6-digit code, spell it out for them. Now, for NIGP, that's the national, hold on, acronym. I want to tell you this because this is what the state uses. So if you want to do business with the state of Texas, National Institute of Government Purchasing, they have a different set of codes. You go to the comptroller's website, or, I think I got it on, you click on that. And you put that in there too. So when you go to talk to a state agency or the university system, you have your NIGP codes listed, and on your cap statement, your foundational cap statement, you can have both NICS and NIGP code. So you can use that same document for state and local and federal, okay? But again, the state of Texas uses NIGP code. You find it on the comptroller's website. I provided the website. And then, we can talk about next steps. I think we're gonna have a conversation about that in January too. But those are the things that are a little bit different, a little bit kludgy about doing local, state, and federal and the differences and what they look for. But I would definitely use NICS if you're using B2B, okay? Now your consumer is probably not gonna care about the NICS codes, okay? But you could put down, I'm a consultant, you could still put the NICS codes on there, even though they may not really know what that is. You know what it is. And again, you might want to have for a foundational, sorry guys, a foundational capability statement. And then I mentioned a couple times the Apex Accelerator. If you go to this link, you can find the Apex Accelerator in your area. It used to be called PTAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Center. Now, the one that is here is in Cross Timbers on the UT Arlington campus. But depending on where you are in Texas, you just put your zip code in there or your address. It's going to tell you who of those offices cover your region. I would definitely do that. I would, you could also bring in your capability statement, have them look at it for you, get another person's opinion on it. So definitely do that. They are helpful, and their whole purpose, by the way, is to help small businesses work in the government space. So if you haven't thought about government, think about it. have a conversation with them. You can sign up, it's no cost. You can sign up and get a conversation with, do you think this is something the federal government will buy? And they will probably do a search like this for you right there and say, yeah, well, this is who bought this last year or whatever. They could probably help you quickly understand whether or not this is something you might want to spend your time on. And then lastly, I put on here is the SBA certifications. So we did talk a little bit about, I referred to some of the certifications. You have to decide if this is something that you want to do. The SBA, I have that link there. I just used the one for women-owned small business. You can do that. There's a couple ways to get the certification. First of all, you can get the certification for free if you're willing to wait 6 months. The SBA will do it for free, but it'll take, you submit, they have 90 days to look at your certification documentation. And then if something's wrong, they send it back to you and they get another 90 days before you get the cert. But is that no cost? So think about that. The other way potentially is to go through a Supplier Diversity Council or Women Business Council of the Southwest. Now, that will cost probably $350, okay, $350, but it's different value proposition. With WBC, Women Business Council, you get 3 certs in one. You will get the statewide hub, the SBA Women-Owned Small Business, and the Supplier Diversity Council, I think from Dallas County. You're gonna get 3 for, the kind of, so the pain and suffering that goes with submitting all the certification, but you get 3. And then the other thing you get, their value proposition is 2, corporate matchmaking. You're in a group of other like-minded individuals who are selling to both government and B2B. And I know Heidi's on the call. I don't know if she talked about this in networking or something, but she's very active in that organization. So, and you can always reach out to her, I think, if you want to do that. So you have to decide, what do I want to do on that? There's different certifications. Obviously, I can provide more for veteran-owned and other Supplier Diversity Council, relevant minority, business enterprise. There's just 8A. I'm having a brain cramp right now, but there's just so many. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those as well. And speaking of questions, I think that's where we go.
Want to put your contact information?
Okay, yeah, this is my contact info. And whatever. You got my email. Sorry. Please send me an email, please, if you want. And then if you'd like to get on a calendar, happy to talk to you about that. Anything. Because let me just say this one thing before we take our first question. I really would recommend that you try to get this done before the next WomenRISE, which is what, January 8th or 9th or something. And if you can send it to me, I'm happy to look it over, give you, any recommendations or assist in any way. We can also jump on a call, because I think we're going to do a little bit more in depth in 2024 on the CAP statement, how to use it, and other things around this, doing some market research, doing, how do I find my, my best client, et cetera. And, I really hope that you'll take a look at this and use it. Then I guess just like, is there any, do I sit down here?
No, you're good. So Kimberly, do we have any online questions?
Yes, one of the first questions was, we hear the term one pager. Christina, is a one pager and a capability statement the same thing?
Yes, I'm sorry. When I say one page, it's just one page, nothing on the back.
Oh,
Okay.
no, I didn't mean your term, one pager. Sometimes you hear in the, when you're in the entrepreneur ecosystem, well, you got to have your one pager. Is that term the same as a capability statement?
I wouldn't make that conclusion.
Okay.
No, and I'm sorry about that. Yeah, for me, it's one page capability statement, because the capability statement has its own lexicon. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And we do have more, Donalisa, after you do the in-person room.
Do we have anybody in here that has a question?
I have.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask a question about, you mentioned socioeconomic status, not being as important on that. Were you referring to hub certifications and, women-owned business.
Yeah, because-
minority-owned, women-owned business.
Right, no, I think everyone has one and it should be on your capability statement. And because everyone has this socioeconomic status, I think it belongs under your certifications on the page versus your differentiator. Because your differentiators really, I mean, you can put it wherever you want. And the person who's reading it will know, I think it will know, obviously this person is woman-owned, veteran-owned, hub, whatever. They're gonna know that. So I don't know that you have to put it listed as a differentiator because everyone's gonna have a socioeconomic status that they'll probably put on this capability statement. I mean, so what I'm saying is, I hope that was clear. It is a differentiator maybe to them because they want, let's say, hey, I need to meet my women-owned small business numbers. And so they definitely want a woman-owned small business.
Because it used to be a big deal.
It is a big deal. I just think you should move it from differentiator to the certification side. They're gonna know that you're woman-owned, minority-owned, veteran-owned if you put the logo on there. What I'm saying is use that other bullet to highlight your awesomeness with another cool thing that you do. I don't know. I hope that answers your question.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, I want to make clear, I'm not, it just is still very important and you need to highlight it on there. Your socioeconomic status. I mean, I would do that. Everyone is doing that. That's what I mean. Everyone is at the table with you. Now we're at the table. How do we win this contract? We deliver value. Your value, whatever that value is that you can bring. I hope that answers that question.
Kimberly, next question.
Do you recommend putting the capability statement on LinkedIn, posting it directly to your LinkedIn?
I think you can maybe put the link and then have it launch to your Notion or your Google file. It definitely belongs on your website. If you're going to sell to government, you should probably have on your website a navigation bar on the top. On your navigation bar, have a government tab, and in the government tab, I would put my capability statement and my NICS codes and all that stuff. I think on LinkedIn, I don't know if I would just put the link there so they can launch to it and take it to where it resides. And then of course you can continue to update that. I don't know that I would post it all on LinkedIn. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, that's just me. I just think it's smarter, make them click on it and launch it to where it resides.
Anybody?
That makes sense.
Another question? Okay.
So if I have different services that I would like to pitch to different entities, would it be best to do different capability statements? Or as you suggested, we have a foundational one that we're talking, and then kind of tweak it, or basically have, like I said, 4 or 5 different services that are not necessarily related to the chocolatier. Right, so
Okay.
like I do fundraising, I do experiences, I have public speaking that I can do.
Yeah.
And then I would also have, product or gift services, things that I can do, or catering. So that's basically
Yeah.
4 or 5 different services that I can offer. And I'd be pitching to different entities. I mean, different companies, these different services.
So because they're not necessarily related. Like I don't know if I would have one separate for the speaking. But the topics that you speak on,
Right.
you should probably ask the expert back there. And then if it's related to the chocolatier, but are you saying using your chocolatier products as a fundraising?
Yes.
I would keep those together. I would definitely keep the foundational. I think if it's not related, I mean, I love the idea of the fundraising piece for the nonprofit or for the B2B, that hey, I can give all my employees gifts or something like that. I kind of might try to bake that in. I think I would just say if it's totally unrelated to the chocolatier thing, do it totally separate. Keep a foundational one,
And it's all gonna have a chocolate theme, go back to it. I mean, it's all using my chocolate as a base, but it's
it's focusing on different aspects of how it can be used and I'm just a little bit confused. I don't want the entity that I pitch to be confused by
All the things you do.
all the things that I do. I
Yeah.
want them to focus on, this is what I want to offer.
And I
this-
think you'll know that when you know who you're talking to, and
Yeah.
what what their needs are.
Right, and that's why I said, I just don't want them to see a capability statement that lists too many things.
Correct. Yeah, that's why we want to keep the like 3 to 5 max. You could do fundraising and you could do guest speaking. Maybe I would say that for a conversation and then, but maybe they're looking for someone to deliver, you know, specialized gift to, as a customer thank you or something.
Right.
I think you need to keep it separate where you can. And granted, it is you know, you can intertwine it all, but like you said, you don't want to confuse the customer and they're there to talk about one thing at this point. You know, customer thank you gifts or something.
Right.
So I would keep it separate.
Okay.
Yes.
This was awesome. I love that you're giving us homework, because I definitely feel like I could do a foundational one. I'm new to WomenRISE and TWU. How do we work with you, and I'm from the public, so I'm not a student or anything, so I guess it's more of a
Okay.
general question. but
Yeah, you don't have
what
to
are
be
the
part of
next
the
steps?
university.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just register in our system and for counseling or consulting, advising, whatever we call it. And then you can just get on my calendar.
Okay,
You can
great.
see my calendar link, and then you're welcome just to jump on.
That'd be good, because you mentioned PTAC, and that's really why I came out, because I'm in the PTAC system from Houston though,
Uh-huh.
years ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know if I was still in there, but now hearing that it's something different, that was helpful. I probably should just start over.
Well, I think that they probably kept the database. They just changed it with the Department of Defense and how they're funded and DOL and all of that, but they just changed it. I mean, their mission's still the same, so you're
I've
probably.
already got the certification, so I've been sitting on for a decade.
Okay,
So it's
well, we
not
probably
bad.
need to renew those probably.
Well, I've been renewing them,
Oh,
so they are
good.
active, yeah.
Oh,
But just-
fabulous.
Yeah, a new capability statement, that's step one, you need to get serious about that, but this was very helpful. And yeah, I definitely want to move forward.
Oh, absolutely. And then, like I said, even afterwards, there's a link.
Yeah, I'll send all that out.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I will send all that out.
Could they move the video, this part, see your.
I will in just 1 second. Give me 1 second. Kimberly, do we have one more question online?
Yes, there was one person asking if certification is faster through the WBC. They specifically said WBC Southwest, or SW. But I think when you were going through some of the certifications, you might have mentioned that one was faster.
Yes, it is. If you go through the either Supplier Diversity Council or third party, it's probably going to be faster, maybe 8 to 12 weeks versus 180 days. So you have to make the decision, hey, I can wait 6 months for my cert because it's going to take me that long to ramp. And then what you could do on the capability statement, I failed to mention this, put on there pending that you've applied for it and you're waiting for it. So if you want to do the low cost version or no cost version and you can wait 6 months, definitely go to the SBA, for example. If you need it faster or you want it faster, and plus you want all the other value add, definitely do it with a third party. And I believe that's about 8 to 12 weeks max.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you so much, Christina. We appreciate that. So just really quick, as Christina alluded, in our first Saturday workshop, the date to be determined, we are going to do a hands-on capability statement. So for those of you that maybe are a little confused or would like some hands-on help and that kind of thing, we are going to provide that for you so that you will actually do a workshop where you'll work on it, you'll get it reviewed, and you'll walk out with a very rough draft
Or close
to a draft of your capability statement. Okay.
Amazing.
And then, Tracy, did you have any last minute thoughts before I talk about WomenRISE next year?
Yeah, I just want to thank Christina. That was great information and very, very helpful. So thank you all for being here and enjoy the holidays.
Awesome. So our Women Rise for January is January 9th. And we will have Leah Frazier from Think 3 Media, and she's going to be talking about mastering business communication, essential strategies for success. And I know that Christina mentioned on the capability statement that you really need to be short and concise. So I feel like this is going to be a great workshop to have prior to the capability statement, so we can hone in and be short and concise. So without further ado, I'm going to turn our virtual audience over to Kimberly and for their final networking. And for those of you that are here in the room, please feel free to stay and hang out with us. Thank you so much for hanging with us for 2023. I will tell you, we had a programming meeting yesterday. We have a lot of exciting topics coming for WomenRISE in 2024. So happy holidays, happy new year, and we'll see you in 2024.